Welcome back to the All We Do Is Talk podcast. It is NBA playoff season here, and we are excited to talk about the first round preview. I'm here with Isaiah Harris.
What's good?
And Chris Cuse.
Hey, thank you for having me.
I'm Nathaniel Moody. Give us a follow on Twitter and on Instagram. All right, so we're here to talk about the first round of the playoffs, which starts later on today. You want to just go series by series, East to West?
Yeah, we're starting the East.
All right, we'll start with the Eastern Conference.
Sure to be a better set of playoff matchups.
This might be the most exciting Eastern Conference playoffs of our lifetime. Probably since the Jordan era. This is the last time the Eastern
If you're saying about since the Jordan era, so
yeah, I was
we didn't watch that era. So
that's like in terms of like talent in the Eastern Conference, so it's really exciting to see who comes out. We'll start with the 1-8 matchup. The Miami Heat will have home court advantage against the Atlanta Hawks, who won the playing game against the Cleveland Cavaliers to fight their way into the playoffs.
surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly, I thought Cleveland would be able to get it done, but Atlanta was a good team. Like, this is a team that was in the conference finals last year. It's absolutely surprising that they had to struggle and fight for as much as they did this season to get to where they are. John Collins is out. Her injury obviously affects the way they're able to play, but they're here now, and they got a good matchup against a divisional opponent in the first round. What do you think is going to happen?
I think this is a pretty easy pick here. I'll respect Atlanta and take Miami in 5 and say they get a game. We saw Clint Capella get hurt last night in that playing game, so that'll make things harder for Atlanta. I think Miami's got the defense that will give Atlanta problems. So yeah, I'll take Atlanta to win one game off of crazy Trae Young explosion, but I'll take Miami in 5.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty safe.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the injury to John Collins and now the injury to Clint Capella, that was their advantage. Miami's a small team. They could have played with some size, got some lobs over the top, but without those two guys, now Miami can focus all its attention on just getting the ball in Trae Young's hands and forcing the other guys to beat you. And Bogdanovich, Gallinari, Porter, they're good players. They're good, but in the NBA playoff series against a top defense like Miami, you expect them to struggle. I'll take Miami in 5.
Yeah, we all have the same idea. It's Miami at 5, obviously. It's just seeing Miami, a greater team, number 1 seed, go against the 8 seed, Atlanta. Obviously, the injuries, like you guys said, I'm just repeating what you guys said because we all have the same idea. Atlanta's definitely might get one away at a home game. Maybe Trae Young dropping 40 points. We'll see about that. But Miami in 5 for sure.
All right. So we got a gentleman's sweep for the Atlanta Hawks. Moving on to the series I think is going to be the best matchup in the first round. The Boston Celtics have home court advantage over the Brooklyn Nets in the 2-7 matchup. You already tell Game 1's going to be on ABC. We know how hype this matchup. This is the matchup of the first round, a la Bucks Nets in last year in the second round. We'll start with Christian. What you think's going to happen in this one?
This is a tough series. Was there any recent injuries?
No,
it's weird.
Ben Simmons might come back Game 4, Game 5.
Robert
the
Williams
Celtics did lose Robert Williams.
He might come back.
He might come back, but that would be surprising.
It really all depends. I honestly see Nets beating them in 5, but it just depends on the team, the chemistry, obviously injuries. But Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, obviously they've been having a great year. It's amazing what they've been doing, and the Nets are still working on that chemistry with Kyrie coming back so late. So we'll see how that works. But obviously it's been amazing with him and KD. So. Definitely, I see Nets at 5, but I'm excited to see the series. So
yeah, I'm really surprised Boston fought so hard to go be the 2 seed here. This is one hell of a matchup to be ending up to fight all year for a 2 seed and have to go see Kevin Durant and Kyrie in the first round. That's tough. I like Boston. I think Boston's a really good team. I had them as the 3 seed preseason. They made it to the 2 seed, so they even exceeded my expectations. They're arguably the best defense in the league, but the Robert Williams injury is very real and very serious for them. I'll take Brooklyn to win in 7. I think Tatum and Jaylen Brown are hitting their peak as far as like their chemistry together as a duo. Marcus Smart is one of the front runners for DPOI. Emil Udoka has done a really, really good job with that team and with that roster. And I think with home court advantage that they'll be able to win enough home games to push it all the way to 7. But Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are the better duo, and as long as they're able to play the entire series, I expect them to be able to get it done. I'll take the Nets in 7.
Yeah, so as the Nets fan, I'm confidently behind the Nets in 5 as well. I agree with Christian. I think it'll be a competitive 5 if you want to look back to the Lakers versus Denver in the in the bubble.
Yeah.
A competitive 5 games. I think the Celtics will fight. I think they'll cause problems for the Nets defense. They'll probably score at will. But in the end, I'm gonna say Kevin Durant's. I believe Kevin Durant's a top 3 player. Jason Tatum might be a top 10 player.
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown might be a top 20, probably top 25 more likely. So I'm just gonna say that Kyrie and Kevin Durant are the top 10 players versus 2 guys that might be top 10 in the future. Now they have a better team. Marcus Smart's having a great season defensively and offensively, but that Robert Williams injury is big. It's massive. It's huge. I think he'll be back. They're saying he'll be back. Ben Simmons might be back. Who knows? They'll probably neither will beat themselves probably, but if they both come back, that'll make the series just even better. But in the end, it's just gonna go Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant greater than Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown for me. I got Nets in 5.
All right. Moving on to what I think will probably be the least competitive first round series, the 3-6 matchup. The defending champion Milwaukee Bucks will go host the Chicago Bulls, another divisional matchup, really close in that area. Here, no Lonzo for the Chicago Bulls. Doesn't look like he's gonna make it back from that ankle sprain. That's tough.
Came back.
They got Caruso back, so they got Patrick Williams even came back. So they have some healthy guys available, but the Lonzo Ball injury really is a big blinking light. And then the defending champs are 100% healthy.
Yeah, I'll start here because it's simple for me. I've got Bucks in 4, and I don't expect a competitive series. Maybe DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine go off and win them a game, and it should be 5. But actually, no, I don't see any scenario where Giannis isn't dropping 30, 15, and 6 easily, and Drew Holiday being a menace on defense, Chris Middleton closing on offense, and they got back Brook Lopez right at the perfect time. So who's the other guy? Bobby Portis would be big for them in the middle, with next to Giannis. So yeah, Bucks in 4.
Yeah, I'm almost in lockstep with Isaiah. This is DeRozan. This is the time. Like we saw the great 35-point run on 50% shooting. For a long stretch, you were the MVP candidate until your team pretty much got beat up and unhealthy, and that kind of drags you down. So I want to see that DeMar DeRozan we saw in the regular season show up in the playoffs. That would be ideal to see. And in that scenario, maybe they could get a game. But since
that's to get a game.
But unfortunately, if the Bucks are locked in and ready to go like they were against Miami last year, I expect this to be a pretty uncompetitive 4-game series. The Bucks are defending champs; they're the better team. If they turn,
how did they get this matchup?
Because they knew not to get the 2 seeds. Because the Bucks know what they're doing out here. That's why they're the defending champs and they have the best player in the world, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I expect the Bucks to take care of business here.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you guys.
Oh, okay.
I'm
That's
actually
good.
a fan of Chicago here, but I don't see them going far. My honest opinion, I see Bucks in probably 5 or 6, just because I do see Chicago going off, especially just because it's a team of talent. You know, obviously Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, even Alex Caruso coming off as a 6th man.
And Vucevic, we didn't mention
Vucevic as well. Yeah, exactly. That's another all-star right there. So I see some nights where these players can obviously get 20, 30 easily, but let's be honest, no one's stopping Giannis.
Not Vucevic.
Not Vucevic. So
maybe Patrick Williams. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't see anyone stopping these other guys, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Yeah, mainly those 2, honestly. But
that Zach LaVine Drew Holiday matchup is going to be interesting to watch. That's a different type of player that he's going up against.
Middleton DeRozan matchup.
That's pretty
mid-range masters right there.
I don't know. I'm excited to see though, but I do have Bucks in 6. I would say it would be
Bucks in 6.
You get some respect to Chicago.
Chicago get a couple games. That'd be a nice little way to punctuate their season.
They'll slow down Milwaukee and get them. I don't want them to win it.
No one's stopping Giannis,
especially because y'all are destined to see him around 2. But anyway, and then finally, the what will probably be another really great playoff series. We got the 4-5 matchup. Philly hosting the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, Philly added James Harden right before the trade deadline. Now they were the 1 seed, I think, when they got him, and they've dropped to 4 since.
They went up. The week after they got him, they had that quick run and they got up to 1, and then they they really fell back down right away.
I think Jalen Rose said it best. James Harden's shooting percentages have looked like concert dates recently, and then you never want to be trusting James Harden in a big playoff series.
So you want to go for it? You guys?
I'm going to go first here. I've been going back and forth over who I think is going to win this one. Philly's the better basketball team. They have the more star players. They should win. So I'm going to take them to win in 7 games because I trust Joel Embiid. I think he'll win the MVP, and I think that little bit of bump for him will allow him to go out here and get the job done against a team that doesn't have really a real matchup for him. I don't expect Pascal Siakam at the 5 or OG or even guys like Chris Boucher or Kevin Burch to be able to handle Joel Embiid on the block. But this is going to be a fight because I don't expect James Harden to have a very efficient, effective series with the wings that Toronto's going to be able to throw at him. Matisse Thybulle not being able to play on the road against those pair of wings, that's gonna force Philly to struggle to probably to win some road games. But I think they should be fine at home. I'll take Philly in 7 because Joel Embiid is the best player on the court.
I mean, I'm going to go the same way with the same mindset. That the same pressure I put on the Nets guys. I believe Joel Embiid and James Harden are top 7 players when they're at their peak. So if you have 2 top 7 players, they got to go out there and get it done. I'll give them a little asterisk because one of their best defensive players can't play in Toronto, so that's going to make things harder. But in the end, I'm going to take Philly in 7 too, banking on their talent. And the only thing I'll say is if James Harden has a terrible series, they can easily lose in 5. If James Harden has a terrible,
is he about to fumble back then? Is he getting?
That relationship will be done if they lose in 5. They can't. If they lose the series, I don't know what they'll do.
They'll just hang out with another MVP. That's what they'll do. Christian, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, so I agree with you guys. You know, obviously, well, you know, in the playoffs, some people are built for the moment and some people aren't. So I'm excited to see how this Philly team is. Obviously, Joel Embiid at the prime of his life right now, having an amazing career, and Harden that we've seen choke before many times. Yeah, well, obviously my call for that is Philly in 6. So Philly definitely winning that, and I'm excited to see it. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, like I said, James Harden's got the most pressure on him in these NBA playoffs. I think of any player. He got the trade out for what he wanted. What'd you say?
He doesn't believe that.
He doesn't believe he has any pressure. If he's going to enter a Russell Westbrook stratosphere if he doesn't get out of this playoff series.
He might already be there.
All right, we can go ahead and move on to the Western Conference. Much less exciting playoff series, but they count all the same. We can go ahead and start off with the 1-8 matchup where the surprising New Orleans Pelicans steal the 8th seed from everybody's nose.
Both teams in LA.
Both teams in LA, and technically the San Antonio Spurs lost out in the 8th seed to New Orleans Pelicans. Maybe Zion comes back, maybe he doesn't, we'll see. And they'll be going up against what for the 2021-22 regular season was by far the best team in basketball, the buzzsaw Phoenix Suns.
Christian, you want to start this one?
Yeah, I'll start this one. Obviously, better team here. Phoenix Suns are definitely probably being number 4-0. You know, obviously Pelicans do have talent. If Zion comes back, they could maybe get away with 1, but really it won't be a game changer at all. Brandon Ingram has obviously been balling. His last game, what did he get? 30 points. So
he was
around
amazing.
that carrying that team. So
CJ.
Yeah, CJ as well. Brian Alvarado, they have as a guard. Grand Theft Alvarado is what they call him. So they definitely have some sneaky talent there, but maybe get away with 1 game at best. Phoenix Suns, amazing season. Obviously, they're a full healthy team. Is there any injuries at all? Do you guys?
Phoenix is fully healthy.
And that's most lethal about them. So 4-0 is my prediction for that Phoenix.
Yeah, I agree. I think Phoenix is they seem to be a team with a mission, fighting to get their way back to the NBA Finals, try to win another championship. They've been the best team in the West all year. They've never really had a focus slip, which is the only way I think they give up a game to the Pelicans here. Pelicans fought hard to get to this position. Congrats to them, but they're going to against a rested and focused Phoenix Suns team. I expect them to take care of business in 4.
I'm going to show respect to the Pelicans and say that CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram go off and get them a game. But Suns in 5 for me is what I'll go with. It should be pretty uncompetitive. CJ McCollum matching Devin Booker. I'll give that to Devin Booker. Brandon Ingram is the wild card because if he wins his matchup against Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson, or whichever wings they want to throw at him, he could make a name for himself. Brandon Ingram's never been in the playoffs, so we're really gonna find out about Brandon Ingram. Yeah. In a coming up soon, so that's gonna be good to know. Maybe we find out about Zion too, but Suns are the better team.
Yeah, I'm gonna say A+ trade. You could go add CJ McCollum in the trade deadline.
Yeah,
and turn their
it's probably the best trade.
Yeah.
Unless we see Ben Simmons or James Harden win a championship in their.
But yeah, CJ turned their season around and got them to the NBA playoffs. Next, we'll move to the 2-7 matchup between a matchup of very inexperienced playoff teams. The Memphis Grizzlies, who were in it last year, versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, the 7th seed, who haven't been in the playoffs in 5 years. And I think haven't won a playoff series in like 17 years. So this is their first opportunity to go make a name for themselves as well. I'll go ahead and start it off here. If Memphis was without Ja, I think it's an easy 4.
They're better with Ja.
I disagree, and the stats disagree as well. But since Ja Moran is holding back the Memphis Grizzlies from being the super duper dominant team that they can be, I'll just take them in an easy 5. I mean, we saw what Karl Anthony Towns was trying to do in the big game last time. Luckily, Anthony Edwards and D'Lo saved them. I don't expect them to be able to do that here against a dominant defensive team in the Memphis Grizzlies. They're well coached as well. Home court advantage. I expect the grindhouse to be super loud and super packed, getting ready for Ja Morant's really his crowning moment. His time to really take over, establish himself as one of the big all-stars in this league. I expect the 2-seeded Grizzlies to get the job done here. I'll take Memphis in 5.
I think for the way people are hyping how big they think the Celtics Nets series is going to be, I think this is going to be the best first round series that we get. I think the youth in the series is going to lead for a lot of exciting play. Anthony Edwards versus Ja Morant sounds like a highlight show versus a highlight show. I am scared about Karl Anthony Towns versus Steven Adams and Triple J because those are the type of physical guys that could give him problems and get him to quit and turn down the big moments. But I think D'Lo, who's playoff tested, we've seen him win a playoff game against a outmatched team before by himself practically. So I respect the Memphis to win 2 games. So I got the Grizzlies in 6, but I think it's going to be an exciting series with a lot of good games. And I'm really excited to see Anthony Edwards because he was the #1 overall pick.
Yeah,
so.
they built the team. Their starting 5 is really, really good. This is their time to go out there and make a statement for themselves.
Yeah, so I agree with Isaiah. I do have respect for Minnesota just because they're a young team, obviously. They're exciting to watch, no injuries at all as of right now, I'm pretty sure. And that Anthony Edwards-Ja Moran matchup is, the hype is definitely around it, but I'm more excited to see how D'Angelo Russell is in the playoffs. Cat obviously is, still young, so we'll see how that
Not
is.
as young as he used to be.
Yeah.
He's
Patrick Beverly is...
Nah, Cat's like 25.
I think, they would consider Patrick Beverly their veteran on that team. So.
Yeah.
And he's going to have him.
That says a lot about that.
Pumped. He's going to have him pumped.
But I do have Memphis in 6 is my prediction.
All right. We can go ahead and move on. So I think the most exciting first round Western Conference matchup, Golden State Warriors will be having home court advantage against the 6-seeded Denver Nuggets. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. walk through that door anytime soon. That's unfortunate for Jokic, who had another MVP caliber season. Steph Curry, they're optimistic that he'll play Game 1. If he doesn't play Game 1, I think he'll be back in Game 2 or soon, at some point. So we expect the Warriors to be mostly healthy.
This is a tough one for me because I just don't see if Steph Curry's playing for the Warriors, they're just going to be way better than what Denver has. Unless Aaron Gordon and who's the guard, Monte Morris and Will Barton are about to take some massive steps up in this playoff run, which I just can't foresee. I'll say Jokic wins them 2 games just off of being a dominant presence that Golden State can match. But I'll take Golden State in 6.
Yeah, it's tough for Denver. Like you wish they could get some reinforcements in there and give themselves just an opportunity, talent-wise, to stay in it here. But without those 2 guys, Steph, Clay, Dre, you know,
they won 3 championships.
You know what the deal is. Those are guys you trust to get the job done when it matters most. I'll take Golden State in 5.
Yeah, so I agree with both of you. Golden State is obviously the most talented team here, but it is a close matchup. Coming off the bench, Denver's going to be relying on Campazzo, on Jordan
Austin
Poole.
Rivers.
Yeah, Austin Rivers. It's you look at the roster, you see the better team there, but I do have much respect for Jokic.
Is Campazzo suspended? for the first game because he shoved Wayne Ellington in the back in the season closing?
I don't think they
It
care
might be,
enough
but
about
yeah,
Bobby.
that's little to no damage. But I'm excited to see Steph Curry most likely will come back game 2, but Klay Thompson having great.
It's been years since we've seen Steph, Dre, and Klay in the playoffs.
And that's all scaring the hell out of Toronto when they were. That's the last time we saw them, so we know this trio can get the job done.
And now we're seeing Andrew Wiggins in addition to that. So
Yeah.
that's
First time he'll be back in the playoffs since he was one of the Timberwolves that time ago.
So I have Golden State at 6.
All right, moving forward to the last series of the Western Conference, we got the 4-seeded Dallas Mavericks hosting the 5-seeded Utah Jazz. I think it's the lowest of the Jazz have been seed-wise since Donovan was a rookie. They haven't had home court.
No, they were ever because they were a 3 seed when they beat OKC.
Yeah, so they've been a pretty. This is different for them not to have home court.
It was OKC. No, OKC was a 6.
So
even though Paul George was an MVP candidate, that was a weird year.
Top 2 over Jokic. Okay, but all right. Anyway, the big news here obviously is Luka Doncic has a pretty severe calf strain. He's already been ruled out for Game 1. Doesn't sound too great for Game 2 as well. The 2 games Dallas will obviously host with home court advantage. It's tough. You just don't know what the dynamic is going to be without Luka Doncic being available at least early on. Utah, you can't always trust them to just take care of business. We saw that last year against the Clippers, but the Mavericks without Luka aren't even that level of Clippers team last year. If Luka is going to miss at least the first 2 games, I think I'll have to take Utah in 6 because I don't think they'll be able to win a game without him, and then I think Utah can find a way to win a couple games even if he plays because I don't expect him to be himself. The calf strain is an injury you don't mess with. We saw it with Kevin Durant in the finals a few years ago. Usually when the calf strain shows up, you got to shut it down. He's probably going to try to fight through it, but it doesn't look good for the Dallas Mavericks. It's an unfortunate injury.
Yeah, out of respect for the unknown, I'm going to take Utah in 6 because maybe Dallas puts up a fight with 1 game of good role players just going off.
Yeah.
Maybe Luka plays in the last 3 games to try to save him. But Utah should put this away. Donovan Mitchell is still pretty consistent in the playoffs. And no one there to match his points. Nobody, unless Spencer Dinwiddie's just going to play out of his mind, or Jalen Brunson or Finney Smith. I don't see none of those guys doing that.
Yeah.
Even though the Mavericks have had a good second half of the year, they played good defense. Jason Kidd's done an above-average job. But yeah, I'll take the Jazz in 6. I think it'll be an easier 6, closer to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I actually disagree with you guys. I have Mavericks winning at 7.
Okay.
Just because, I honestly think Mavericks made the best trade this season. Trading away Porzingis to go Washington, being a Wizards fan. But, they received Spencer Dinwiddie. We've seen him before in playoffs, and, we'll see him again. He's been a great piece. So Luka being out, he'll probably be, a main ball handler. So, obviously no one's stopping Donovan Mitchell with that lineup, but...
Finney Smith's a good matchup, and Jalen Brunson
are excellent on defense. Really,
that's actually I never even thought of. They have guys
I
to throw
didn't
Donovan
think about
Mitchell.
that, but I'm still excited just to see that Mavericks. I think it'll be a good matchup. We've seen Utah choke before. Yeah. It's the same old team. They haven't really made big adjustments to their team in the offseason. So
they lose this. Wow,
that's tough. That's
tough. Donovan Mitchell has looked ashamed of that team before. So we'll see. We'll see this season, but Mavericks in 7 is my choice.
All right, 9-7. All right. Well, that's it for the first round of playoff preview.
So yeah, lastly, we'll give a finals prediction for who we think. I'll start it off since I'm going to be so biased.
Yeah,
biased.
I'm going to think the Nets.
Of course, in the race.
I'm going to think the Nets are good enough to get through. Because I just think I have no good reasoning other than fandom, and that we need to get revenge against Milwaukee. So if they don't win it this year, I'm going to really start losing hope. I practically lost hope after knowing that last year was our chance, really. But I'll take the Nets, and out of the West, I'll take Golden State. Because the Kevin Durant versus Steph Curry in the finals matchup would be storylines on storylines on storylines.
Which is probably why we'll never see it. For me, I think in the preseason I predicted the Suns-Bucks rematch, and I'm going to stick with that here. Giannis has elevated himself into a different stratosphere that I didn't know was possible. You see now he's consistent free throw shooter, step back 3-point game. He can do whatever you want him to do on the basketball court. And I think they really coached all season to a 3 seed, really to make sure they didn't have to play.
3 seed last year.
Really just to make sure they didn't have to play Brooklyn right away. They might see him in the second round again, but I think they're more than ready to take on the matchup. I'll take Milwaukee out the East, and then Phoenix. They've been the best team all year. The Steph injury kind of throws a wrench in how much I expect out of Golden State. And then Phoenix got the best draw. Phoenix is going to play the Pelicans, and then either the hurt Mavericks or the Jazz before they get to the conference finals. While Memphis and Golden State will probably have to run through each other.
Phoenix still getting a nice draw.
Yeah, while Memphis and Golden State will have to run through a gauntlet in the second round to get through there to even see Phoenix in the conference finals. So I'll take a rematch: Phoenix versus Bucks.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you, Moody, with the Suns in the West. Obviously, having an amazing season coming. The chemistry is there, teamwork, a full healthy team as we talked about. So definitely Suns on the West, and on the East, it was really tough for me just because it's a bloodbath as we spoke before. But I have Philadelphia winning just because. Like I said, it's going to depend on the first round, how they play, how we see them. Hopefully no choking, so we'll see that. But other than that, Nets obviously is on my mind, but I think Philadelphia is the underdog, so we'll see that.
So you like Philly over Milwaukee?
I mean, this last thing, if you were to rank the top 3
in both conferences, because I actually think Golden State or Memphis, in my opinion, have a better chance of coming out of the West than Phoenix. Phoenix would be my 3.
How does they have to play each other?
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
That's kind of like what I'm saying about last year when I said the Nets and Bucks would be the finals. I'm pretty sure whoever wins that Golden State Memphis series is going to be the Western Conference champion. That's just how I feel.
If I had to rank the West, I think Phoenix has the best shot of coming out. They have the easiest path, and I think they'll be able to out-chemistry the Memphis Grizzlies, or they'll just be more healthy than the Golden State Warriors because the Warriors have been pretty beat up. They're still Wiseman never even came back for them, so it's just tough. It's just tough for me to pick one of those 2 teams when I know the injury bug could be lurking while Phoenix is completely healthy. But I'll probably say Phoenix, Golden State. I would have said Dallas before the Luka injury. But without Luka, I think Memphis has the first best shot. In the East,
how about your West, Christian?
For my West, I agree with you. I have Phoenix Suns for number 1, Golden State number 2, and Memphis for number 3.
All right, so we got all this. We got the same 3, just in different order. East-wise, I mean, are we all Nets, Bucks, Sixers?
I'm actually Bucks, Nets, Celtics.
I didn't say mine's in order. I just said the teams, but yeah.
My 3 in the East would be Bucks, Nets, Celtics.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Christian, how do you feel about your top 3 in the East?
So for my East, it's a bloodbath. It's real competitive, but I have Bucks my number 1, Nets my number 2, and Miami number 3. Just because obviously finishing number 1 seed for Miami, their amazing chemistry, a team full of shooters, a small team actually. So it's kind of hard to see that in the NBA nowadays, but. Number 3 for them.
Yeah, the East is tough, but I like. Yeah, if I had to pick a group, of course I'm more Nets and Bucks. It's hard to pick Philly over Miami because of championship experience, but I just think Philly has a better talent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure this would be a great first round.
I'm sure this is going to be a great start for the playoffs.
We'll catch y'all next time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and let us know how you guys feel about the first round.
And we see y'all for the second.